My name is Ashley, and at 36 years old, I finally earned my master's degree in education administration after 4 grueling years of evening classes teaching full-time at a public high school in Los Angeles and raising 2 children. I stood on that stage, clutching my diploma, scanning the audience for the 5 seats I'd reserved, but they were empty. Not a single family member showed up, not my husband, not my kids, not even my parents. They all ditched me for my sister's barbecue party. I forced a smile through the applause, but inside I was boiling. As the ceremony ended, I snapped a photo in my cap and gown right there amid the celebrating crowds and posted it on Facebook with the caption, "No family." Likes poured in from colleagues and old friends, but nothing from them. Then an hour later, my phone exploded with 45 missed calls from my husband. Before I dive into what happened next, I'd love to know what time it is, where you're listening, and which city you're in. It makes me happy to see how far these stories travel and connect with people. For the last 12 years, I've been married to Christopher, a 38-year-old film producer with a steady job at a production company in Hollywood. Together we have 2 children, Matthew, our 13-year-old son, who's hitting that phase where he thinks everything about his parents is cringy, and Samantha, our bright 10-year-old daughter who's getting more into her school friends and dance classes. We live in a modest 3-bedroom house in the Hollywood Hills suburbs, comfortable but not extravagant, with a backyard patio where the kids play on sunny afternoons when LA's traffic isn't too bad. I work as a high school teacher at a public school in the LA Side District, a position I've held for 9 years. The job is rewarding but exhausting, planning lessons, grading papers, dealing with rowdy teens, often putting in extra hours for parent meetings or after-school programs. I'm effective at it, patient with students, and strong at classroom management, but promotions to administrative roles kept slipping away. My principal would say in evaluations, "Your teaching is solid, but for vice principal spots we need that master's degree. A bachelor's is entry-level these days." After getting passed over for the second time in favor of someone with less classroom experience but advanced credentials, I knew I had to act. I signed up for the evening master's program in education administration at UCLA, designed for working educators. It would take 4 years part-time, but I viewed it as a step up for our family. More income, better benefits, perhaps enough to afford those acting classes Samantha begged for, or a family road trip up the coast. I didn't realize how draining it would be. My days started at 5:30 a.m., prepping breakfast, helping the kids with outfits, dropping them at school on my way to work. Then a full day teaching algebra and history to 9th graders, followed by rushing to campus 3 evenings a week for classes until 9 p.m. I'd get home wiped out, facing a sink full of dishes or Matthew's unfinished science project. Weekends meant locking myself in the spare room with textbooks while Christopher handled the kids' soccer practices or play dates at the park. Matthew complained to Christopher once, "I caught it through the door. Mom's always at her computer or in books. She never watches my games anymore." Those words cut deep, but I reminded myself this was short-term. The degree would bring stability, maybe let us upgrade from our cramped house to something with a bigger yard. We'd have more time for beach days or hikes in the hills. Things got complicated with my sister Jennifer. 3 years older at 39, Jennifer has always been the star in our family. She runs a small film studio in Beverly Hills, lives in a stylish condo downtown, and being single with no kids, she jets off to festivals in Cannes or collects vintage movie posters. Our parents, Linda and David, who live down in San Diego, never bothered to hide their favoritism. As kids, they'd drive hours to her theater performances, but claimed traffic was too bad for my school debates. Now they'd fly in to help with her studio launches, but cite distance when I asked for help during midterms. "Jennifer just has that spark," Mom told me once after I pointed out the imbalance. "You're so grounded with your job and kids." It felt like a backhanded compliment, punishing me for being responsible. Despite it all, I kept going. I'd review lesson plans during lunch at school, type essays after tucking the kids in sometimes until 1 a.m. I passed on weekend brunches with friends using that time for group projects instead. Christopher supported me initially, covering more bedtime routines and motivating me through slumps. But as months turned to years, his enthusiasm faded. "When does this end?" He'd snap. "The kids barely recognize you." I'd reassure him. "Just 6 more months, then 3. By the final semester, our connection felt strained. He'd created his own schedule, taking Matthew and Samantha to movie nights or visits with his buddies without inviting me along. I'd skipped so many family dinners and school plays that they adapted to my absence. That's why the graduation mattered so much. It wasn't just the paper, it was proof to my kids that moms can chase dreams too, that persistence wins. About 5 months before, I told Christopher, "Make sure everyone's there, you, the kids, my parents, even Jennifer if she can swing it. This is our win." He nodded. "Absolutely, we'll be front row." But doubts crept in. I'd seen the patterns over time, the way family group chats lit up for Jennifer's achievements but stayed silent on mine, how Christopher's complaints about my schedule grew sharper. Quietly, I started documenting it all, saving screenshots of texts where parents gushed over Jennifer's latest deal, but ignored my straight A's, noting times they canceled on babysitting for me, but cleared calendars for her. I even met with a divorce attorney, discreetly getting advice on custody and assets if things went south. It was a precaution, not a plan yet. As the ceremony approached, tensions built. Jennifer called casually about her big barbecue to celebrate a new studio partnership, same date as my graduation. "Pop by after," she suggested. When I reminded her of the conflict, she laughed it off. "It's just extra classes, Ash. You've graduated before." I bit my tongue, but added her email chain to my growing file where she and Christopher had coordinated, without looping me in, hinting at his frustration with my obsession over the degree. 4 months before my graduation, I started planning what I hoped would be a milestone for our family. I requested 5 guest tickets from UCLA, 1 for Christopher, Matthew, Samantha, Mom, and Dad. I even considered inviting Jennifer, thinking maybe she'd show up for once. I called my parents in San Diego to confirm the date, May 10th. "We'll do our best, honey." Mom said, her voice non-committal, like she was already weighing other options. I pushed the doubt aside and focused on logistics. I booked a dinner at a cozy Mexican restaurant in downtown LA, putting down a deposit of $300. It was a splurge, but this was my moment, our moment, I told myself. I also reserved a hotel room at the Marriott near campus for my parents, using points from years of teacher conferences. I bought a deep green dress, simple but sharp, perfect under my gown and for dinner after. Samantha saw me trying it on one evening and grinned. "Mom, you look like you're in charge." Nisai. Her words lit me up. I hadn't felt that way in years, always rushing between work classes and home. Then 3 weeks out, the first crack appeared. Jennifer called, her voice bubbling with excitement. "I'm throwing a huge barbecue on May 10th to celebrate my studio's new partnership with a big streaming platform. You guys have to come. Matthew and Samantha will love the bounce house and catering from that taco truck they like." My stomach twisted. "Jennifer, that's my graduation day. I told you months ago." There was a pause, then her casual tone. "Oh, right, I forgot. It's just a degree, Ashley. You've done this before with your bachelor's. Come after, bring the kids for the fun part." I gripped the phone, fighting to stay calm. This isn't just a degree. It's 4 years of late nights and sacrifices. My family needs to be there. Jennifer sighed. "Look, I've got industry execs flying in that weekend. I can't move it. You'll have other celebrations." I hung up, my hands shaking, and immediately saved her texts to my file. She'd dismissed me like my work meant nothing, just like always. I called Mom to set things straight. "Jennifer's barbecue is the same day as my graduation. You're not going to that instead, are you?" Her response was maddeningly vague. "Oh, sweetheart, what a mix-up. Those execs are important for Jennifer's business and we hardly see her. Can't you both work it out?" I pressed. "The university doesn't reschedule commencements, Mom. I told you the date 5 months ago." She hesitated. "Well, Your dad loves her barbecues and we're staying at her condo that weekend anyway. Maybe we can make both. The distance between San Diego and LA made that impossible, and she knew it. I turned to Christopher that night expecting backup. I laid out the situation, my voice steady but sharp. Jennifer planned her party on my graduation day, and Mom and Dad are leaning toward it. You and the kids are coming, right? He looked uneasy, avoiding my eyes. Ashley, the kids heard about the bounce house and the taco truck from their cousins. They're begging to go. A 3-hour ceremony reading names sounds miserable for them. My jaw tightened. So you're saying you'd rather take them to a party than see me graduate with honors? This is about supporting me, Christopher. He sighed. I'm just trying to keep them happy. Can't we compromise? I'll drop them at Jennifer's and come to your ceremony alone. I couldn't believe it. This isn't a negotiation. It's about showing up for me after 4 years of juggling everything for this family. He muttered, You're making this bigger than it is. His words echoed Jennifer's dismissal, and something snapped. I didn't argue further but went to my laptop, pulling up our family group chat. There it was, messages between Christopher and Jennifer from a month earlier, planning the barbecue, joking about how my school thing wouldn't be as fun. They'd coordinated behind my back, knowing the conflict. I dug deeper, my heart racing. In Christopher's email, I found a thread with one of Jennifer's assistants, a woman named Claire. The tone was too friendly, flirty, even arranging for her to attend the barbecue with winks and private plans to catch up later. It wasn't concrete proof of an affair, but it was enough to raise red flags. I screenshot everything, adding it to my growing collection of evidence. If they thought they could dismiss me, they were wrong. I wasn't just the reliable one anymore. I was done being invisible. That night, I met with Stephanie, my closest colleague from school, a 34-year-old English teacher who'd become my rock through late-night study sessions. Over coffee, I vented about the barbecue and Christopher's betrayal. She didn't sugarcoat it. They're choosing a party over your life's work. You don't deserve that. What's your next step? I leaned forward, lowering my voice. I'm not letting this slide. I've got texts, emails, everything. When the time's right, they'll see what it costs to cross me. Stephanie nodded. You're stronger than they know. Keep those receipts. Her support fueled me. I went home, added more notes to my file, and started outlining my divorce paperwork with the attorney's advice. The ceremony was coming, and I was ready to face whatever they threw at me next. The morning of my graduation, I woke up with a knot in my stomach. Despite the fight with Christopher and the sting of my family's choice to attend Jennifer's barbecue, I tried to focus on what I'd earned. I'd spent 4 years grinding for this master's degree, and today was mine, even if I had to celebrate alone. I slipped into my green dress, adjusted my cap and gown, and drove to UCLA's campus, checking my phone one last time for any messages from Christopher or the kids. Nothing. At the auditorium, I joined the other graduates, forcing myself to smile as families snapped photos and handed out flowers. My colleague Stephanie was there, her presence a small anchor. You look incredible, she said, hugging me. This is your day, Ashley. Own it. We took a few pictures together, and I tried to soak in the moment, but the empty seats reserved for my family loomed in my mind. When the ceremony started, I marched in with hundreds of others to the sound of pomp and circumstance, scanning the crowd one last time. No familiar faces. The speeches dragged on, deans talking about perseverance, and alum preaching work-life balance that felt like a jab at my sacrifices. Then my name was called, Ashley Marie Johnson, Master of Education Administration with honors. I walked across the stage, shook the dean's hand, and moved my tassel from right to left. The applause was polite, but distant, no cheers or whistles from anyone who knew me. I returned to my seat, clutching the diploma case, feeling a mix of pride and emptiness. I'd done it, but no one who mattered most was there to see it. After the ceremony, I lingered on the campus lawn, watching graduates pose with parents and kids. Stephanie stayed by my side, sensing my mood. You're stronger than this, she whispered. They don't get to define your win. I nodded, pulling out my phone to post the photo we'd taken me in my gown, trying to smile with the caption, "No family support." Comments rolled in from coworkers and distant friends, but still radio silence from Christopher, Matthew, Samantha, or my parents. I tucked my phone away, ready to head to the Mexican restaurant alone, when it started buzzing uncontrollably. I glanced at the screen. 45 missed calls from Christopher, all within the last hour. My heart sank. Something was wrong. I called back immediately, and he picked up on the first ring, his voice frantic. "Ashley, thank God. It's Matthew. He fell off a slide at Jennifer's barbecue. We're at Cedars-Sinai. It's his leg might be broken." My mind raced, maternal instinct kicking in over the hurt. "Is he okay? How bad is it?" I asked, already heading to my car. "He's in pain, but they've got him stable. He's asking for you." Christopher said, his words rushed. I sped to the hospital, my gown still on, crumpled in the passenger seat. The 20-minute drive felt endless. My thoughts a blur of worry for Matthew and fury at the situation. How could they let this happen? At the emergency room, I gave Matthew's name at the desk and was directed to Bay 5. Pulling back the curtain, I froze. There was Matthew, his face pale, his right leg in a temporary splint. Around him stood Christopher, Samantha, Jennifer, Mom, and Dad, their faces a mix of guilt and concern. A doctor was reviewing x-rays, explaining a fracture that would need a cast, but wasn't life-threatening. Mom, Matthew called out, his voice shaky but relieved. I rushed to his side, stroking his hair. "I'm here, sweetie. You're going to be okay." I turned to the doctor, who introduced himself as Dr. Patel. "It's a clean break in the tibia," he said, pointing to the x-ray. 6 weeks in a cast and he'll recover fully." I nodded, relief mixing with the anger simmering beneath. As I comforted Matthew, I overheard Jennifer whispering to Christopher, "I told you the slide was fine. Kids fall all the time." My eyes narrowed. I'd seen a video sent by a friend who'd been at the barbecue showing the slide, rickety, no supervision kids climbing chaotically while Jennifer schmoozed with her industry guests. I saved the clip to my phone, another piece for my file. Christopher avoided my gaze, fidgeting, and I caught a glance between him and a woman in the corner, Claire, Jennifer's assistant from the flirty emails. She looked away quickly, but it was enough to confirm my suspicions. I kept my focus on Matthew, asking about his pain, making sure he felt safe. But inside, I was done. They'd chosen a party over me, and now my son was hurt because of their negligence. The video, the emails, the texts, they weren't just proof of betrayal anymore. They were ammunition. I wasn't going to let this slide. As Dr. Patel stepped out to prep for casting, I looked at my family, my voice low but steady. "We're talking about this. All of it. Soon." Their uneasy silence told me they knew something big was coming. The hospital bay was cramped, the air thick with tension as I stood by Matthew's side, his small hand gripping mine. His leg was stabilized, and Dr. Patel had just left to arrange the casting. Christopher hovered nearby, his face, a mask of worry but laced with guilt. Samantha sat quietly on a chair, clutching her stuffed bunny, her eyes darting between us. Jennifer stood by the curtain, arms crossed, whispering to Mom and Dad about how accidents happen. Their presence, after choosing a barbecue over my graduation, felt like a mockery. I'd had enough. I took a deep breath, my voice low, but cutting through the hum of the ER. "This stops now." All eyes turned to me. Christopher's widened, Jennifer's narrowed, and Mom's mouth opened slightly. I didn't wait for their excuses. For 4 years, I poured everything into that degree, missed Matthew's games, Samantha's recitals, sleep, sanity, all for our family's future. And you couldn't give me one afternoon to show up. You picked Jennifer's party instead, and now my son's lying here with a broken leg because you didn't bother to supervise. Jennifer stepped forward, her tone sharp. "Don't make this about me, Ashley. Kids fall. It's not my fault." I held up my phone, showing the video from her barbecue, a shaky clip of kids scrambling on an unstable slide, no adults in sight, while Jennifer laughed with her guests. "This says otherwise," I said. "You promised safety but didn't deliver. I've already sent this to my lawyer." Her face paled and she went silent. I turned to Christopher, who wouldn't meet my eyes. "And you," I said, my voice steady but cold. You planned that party with Jennifer behind my back. I have the emails where you called my graduation a school thing and laughed it off. But that's not all. I pulled up another screenshot one I'd found just days ago, a flirty exchange between Christopher and Claire, Jennifer's assistant, arranging a private meetup after the barbecue. I held it up for everyone to see. You've been cheating with her. I've got months of messages, photos, even a hotel receipt. The room went dead quiet. Samantha's eyes widened and Matthew looked confused, his grip tightening on my hand. Christopher stammered, "Ashley, it's not what you think. I cut him off." "Don't. I filed for divorce this morning. I'm seeking full custody of the kids and half our assets based on your infidelity and neglect. My lawyer's ready." His jaw dropped and Mom gasped. "Ashley, you're being rash. I wasn't done." I faced Jennifer again. "Your studio's been dodging taxes for years. I've got copies of your invoices, fake ones you used to hide income. I sent them to the IRS yesterday. Good luck with the audit." Jennifer's confident facade crumbled, her voice shaking. "You wouldn't dare." I stared her down. "I already did." Finally, I turned to Mom and Dad, their faces a mix of shock and discomfort. "You've always put Jennifer first. Her plays, her parties, her life. Never mine. I have recordings of our calls where you dismissed my degree as just extra classes while praising her every move. I posted them online an hour ago, tagged our family and friends. Everyone knows now how you've treated me." Dad tried to speak. "Ashley, we didn't mean," but I raised a hand. "You meant it every time you chose her over me." Mom's eyes filled with tears. "Please, honey, let's talk this out. We're family." I shook my head, my resolve like steel. Family doesn't abandon each other. You made your choice, and now you live with it. I'm done begging for your respect. Samantha started to cry, and I knelt beside her, softening my voice. "Sweetie, this isn't about you or Matthew. I'm protecting us." Matthew looked up, his voice small. "I'm sorry, Mom. I should have come to your graduation." My heart ached, but I squeezed his hand. "It's not your fault, sweetie. Adults made these decisions." Christopher stepped forward, his voice desperate. "Ashley, let's fix this. I messed up, but we can work it out." I looked at him, the man I'd loved for 12 years, now a stranger. "You fixed nothing when it mattered. It's too late." Jennifer tried next, her tone pleading. "I'll cancel the next event, anything, don't do this." I didn't flinch. "You did this to yourselves." Dr. Patel returned, breaking the silence, and I focused on Matthew, helping him through the casting process. As we prepared to leave, I sent a quick text to Stephanie. "It's done. They know everything." Her reply was instant. "Proud of you. You're unstoppable." I walked out of that bay with my kids, leaving Christopher, Jennifer, Mom, and Dad behind, their stunned faces fading in my mind. I wasn't just walking away, I was taking control. They'd underestimated me for the last time. 6 months after that hospital showdown, I stood in my new office at Westview High School, hanging my master's degree on the wall. I'd been promoted to vice principal, a role I'd fought for through years of late nights and missed family moments. The pay bump let me move Matthew and Samantha to a sunny 2-bedroom apartment in Culver City, closer to school and away from the memories of our old life in Hollywood Hills. The kids adjusted fast. Matthew joined the soccer team, and Samantha started dance classes again, her laughter filling our new home. For the first time in years, I felt free, like I could breathe, without carrying everyone else's weight. I'd cut all contact with Christopher, Jennifer, Mom, and Dad. No calls, no texts, no holiday visits. The divorce was finalized 3 months ago. I got full custody of the kids and half our assets thanks to the ironclad evidence of Christopher's affair with Claire. The hotel receipts, flirty texts, and photos I'd presented in court painted a clear picture. He didn't fight it. He couldn't. Last I heard, he'd lost his job at the production company after the scandal spread. Industry gossip travels fast in LA, and Claire's reputation took a hit too. She left Jennifer's studio under a cloud. Jennifer's world unraveled even faster. The IRS audit I triggered uncovered years of unreported income from her studio's side deals. By month 4, her Beverly Hills operation shut down, her condo was up for sale, and her industry friends ghosted her. She tried texting me once, a half-hearted apology about misunderstandings, but I didn't respond. Her choices had consequences, and I wasn't her cleanup crew anymore. Mom and Dad faced their own fallout. The recordings I posted on social media, clips of their calls dismissing my degree while praising Jennifer, went viral in our family's circle. Relatives and old friends reached out to me, shocked at their favoritism. My parents tried calling, leaving voicemails about making things right, but I let them go unanswered. They'd spent decades putting me second. Now they were reaping the isolation they'd sown. I heard from a cousin they'd retreated to San Diego, avoiding gatherings where their bias was the talk of the town. The kids, though, were my anchor. One evening, as we sat on our new balcony eating pizza, Matthew looked at me, his cast long gone. "Mom, I'm sorry I went to Aunt Jennifer's party. I didn't get how big your graduation was. I'm proud of you now." His words hit hard, and I hugged him tight. "It's okay, sweetie. You were a kid, and I'm proud of you too." Samantha piped up. "You're like a superhero, Mom. You did school and work and still took care of us." I laughed, tears stinging my eyes. Their pride meant more than any diploma. Stephanie became my rock, stopping by with coffee or helping with the kids when my new job got hectic. She'd been there at the graduation when no one else was, and her support reminded me I could build a new family, one that valued me. My promotion brought a private office and respect from colleagues, a far cry from the days I was overlooked. The extra income meant dance lessons for Samantha and new soccer gear for Matthew, small wins that felt monumental after years of scraping by. Looking back, that empty graduation stage wasn't just a wound, it was a turning point. I learned a hard truth sometimes. The people closest to you are the ones who will hurt you most, but you don't have to let them define your worth. I spent years trying to earn their respect, only to realize I had to demand it, and when they couldn't give it, I had to walk away. My revenge wasn't just about exposing their lies or triggering their downfall. It was about building a life where I thrived without them. I chose myself, and it was the best decision I ever made. Here's what I want you to take from this: if you see betrayal in your family, whether it's favoritism, neglect, or outright deceit, don't wait for them to change. Set boundaries, gather proof, and protect your peace. Sometimes the strongest act is cutting toxic ties, no matter how much history you share. It's not about sinking to their level, it's about rising above it and letting their actions catch up to them. I wish I'd recognized those red flags sooner, the dismissive comments, the sidelining, the excuses. If you're seeing them now, act. Choose yourself. Find people who lift you up and don't look back. Thank you for listening to my story. It means the world to share this and know I'm not alone. If you've ever felt overlooked by family or had to stand up for yourself, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your experience. Hit that subscribe button to join others who get what it's like to fight for your worth.